Survival rate among pregnant women, one of the worst in the U.S. The Atlanta-based Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows 32 deaths of mothers per 100,000 births. Only California, New York, Florida, and Texas have higher numbers. The Georgia Budget and Policy Institute says more than half of Georgia's 159 counties do not have OBGYNs. Another 15% don't have more than one or two options. And according to the Georgia Department of Public Health, 89% of maternal deaths could have been prevented.
And Georgia does have a maternal mortality committee made up of volunteer health professionals to investigate these all too frequent deaths. But they were suddenly disbanded by the health department this month, accused of sharing sensitive information about the deaths they were looking into with the media. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight in Atlanta's Vine City neighborhood. So Doug, people close to this issue are worried what happens while those roles are open.
Yeah, and it's because right now, guys, there is no timeline for their replacements. You mentioned it. Georgia has an extremely high rate of maternal mortality, so much so that this mural right here in Vine City went up not too long ago to raise awareness. But the problem now is if there's no one serving on this committee, people are wondering who is keeping an eye on this very prevalent problem here in Georgia. A letter from the state health department dated November 8th alerts all 32 members of the Georgia Maternal Mortality Review Committee they've been fired. The department said information about a death the group was investigating was, quote, inappropriately shared with outside individuals. Effective immediately, the current MMRC is disbanded. The leak is likely in reference to a report on Amber Thurman and Candy Miller. The Georgia women became flashpoints in the recent presidential election when they were denied abortion care and died in childbirth. Nonprofit news outlet ProPublica published the committee's report, deeming the women's deaths were preventable just weeks after it happened. The letter to members, who are all OBGYNs, doulas, and other healthcare workers, also said the state would start looking for new members soon, but didn't say when.
Having no timeline is really troubling, right? The people of Georgia deserve better.
For Charles Johnson, this is personal. Johnson is founder of For Kira for Moms. It's named for his wife, who he lost in childbirth in 2016. Soon after, Johnson testified before Congress and helped pass a law that mandated maternal mortality committees in all 50 states.
The Maternal Mortality Committee here in Georgia is a vital piece of the work that needs to be done so that we can better understand what exactly is causing this exorbitant maternal death rate right here in Georgia.
The health department said the responsibilities of the committee won't be delayed while they look for new members, but Johnson wants to know what the future of the idea he helped bring to Georgia looks like for families.
What is the process? When will this be restored? Because without a maternal mortality committee, the families in Georgia will bear the burden of that.
You mentioned earlier that 89% preventable rate. I'll put it in actual numbers for you. Between 2018 and 2020, there were 113 pregnancy-related deaths here in the state of Georgia. The committee deemed in their most recent report that 101 of them were preventable. In Vine City, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.